here today to talk to you about Breath of the Wild because we can talk about it because it's been out for like 11 days already, and most of us have played it, so we can finally talk about it. I'm very, very excited, if you can't tell. A few things about this video is it will be spoiler free because I haven't really done anything, even though I've probably put 40 hours into the game. I haven't done anything related to the story, anything significant, I would say. So I won't be talking about any story spoilers or anything like that. I'll just be talking more about the gameplay mechanics and what I like, not so much a fan of, and all that stuff. This will also probably be all over the place because I haven't really thought about what I want to say. I just want to talk about it. So let's just talk about it. It's raw. So yes, I went to a midnight release of Breath of the Wild and I almost wore this outfit. And I'm glad I didn't because that would have been really embarrassing, but it would have been reflective of who I am. Anyway, it's really hard to believe that Breath of the Wild has been out for almost 2 weeks now. I just don't know where the time is going. I mean, between that and then PAX, and I may or may not already have my review copy of Mass Effect Andromeda. There's just been a lot going on, but I've been able to put probably 40, possibly 50 hours into Breath of the Wild, and like I said, I haven't done a lot of story stuff, so let's just talk about that. So PAX East was just last weekend. Holy crap, my days are all fucked up. And I found myself talking about a lot of Zelda with a lot of different people, and it was really interesting. I mean, honestly, that's all that people were talking about. It was great. But it was really interesting to hear people's thoughts and what they liked, what they weren't really a fan of, things that surprised them, and all that good stuff. And I hadn't really talked about it with too many people before then, so I kind of had to like discover my own personal feelings about how I really felt about Breath of the Wild. And what I found myself telling people, and which is actually the truth, is it took me a lot longer than I expected to warm up to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. At first, I was kind of off-put. And it sounds weird to say that now because I've completely and utterly fallen in love with the game. But at first, yeah, it took me a while to warm up to this formula that is now Zelda. I mean, so I've been playing Zelda since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, starting with A Link to the Past, so over 20 years. And so I'm very accustomed to the typical Zelda formula. So, you start the game, you typically are whisked away to your first dungeon relatively quickly. In there, you find an item that will help you on your adventure. Then you have another dungeon you go to, and you find another item in that dungeon, and then you explore this world. There's heart containers to find. You have 1 or 2 main weapons, and as you go along your adventure, you collect all of your items, and you find rupees by cutting grass, and all that kind of stuff. And Breath of the Wild is almost nothing like that. And that was weird for me. Now granted, like I said, I haven't done any of the major story things that you're supposed to do. I'm spending literally all of my time exploring, finding towers, finding shrines, and yeah. So I'm not totally sure how the dungeons work, how the dungeons lay out, so I can't really speak on those, and I don't really want to know anything about them until I find them for myself. So that is a please don't spoil anything for me message. Thank you. So it's very weird to be thrown into this huge world with little to no direction, and your weapons are breaking, and there's no rupees to find by cutting grass. You can cut down trees, you can climb. I'm still not a fan of the stamina meter. I think that really just needs to go away permanently. I just feel very, very strongly about that. So it was really, it took a lot of getting used to. And I think once I was able to say and accept the fact that this Zelda game is going in a new direction, and Nintendo has kind of, it's kept elements and quirks of prior Zelda games. I mean, the game very much feels like a Zelda game at the same time, but it also feels very different. And so once I was able to accept the fact that this is just not your typical run-of-the-mill, you're not going to cut grass and find rupees, you're not going to have a Epona at your side, at least I don't think, I haven't come across Epona yet. You're not going to have 18,000 dungeons to go, you're going to get all of your items right off the bat. Your items are going to bust, your shields are going to break, your bows are going to bust, and your arrows are going to be like the most valued thing you'll ever find. Once I accepted all that, I was like, okay, now I can see what you're working with. Now I see what you did with Nintendo. And one of my biggest concerns, and I'm so happy that, I mean, I personally feel like this is not an issue, is I was worried that since it was such a massive open world and there's so much to see in terms of scenery, blah, blah, that it was gonna feel vacant and empty and like there really wasn't a lot to do. But I'm so freaking thrilled because I feel like, and this to me is like the most important part of a Zelda game, and that is the sense of exploration and wonder. And can you turn a corner and see something a little out of place. And if you see something that's a little out of place, you know, is there something you can do? Will that trigger something? Will that give you an event? Will that give you an item? And that's exactly what Breath of the Wild does so well, so much better than any other Zelda game I've played. And it's just quite incredible how much attention to detail went into this huge, vast open world. I feel like literally every inch of it was given care and attention and thought and consideration, because there are like random puzzles scattered everywhere, and it's just, oh god, I love it so much. The other part of Zelda games that I absolutely love and look forward to are the dungeons and the puzzles, and that sense of like, and this is one of the reasons why I love Resident Evil so much, is you walk into a room and you're like, I know there's something I can do in here, but what is it? How do I do it? And you have to like look around every nook and cranny and corner and put two and two together and figure out the solution. And because I love that so much, at first I was disappointed that I hadn't came across my first dungeon yet, or it had been so long, and like, where are the dungeons? Where are the temples or whatever? And then, you know, obviously the more I played, I realized that the shrines fill that void, I'm assuming until I get to the dungeons and whatnot. And what I love about the shrines so much is that they're like, they start off easy in the beginning areas, and, you know, little simple puzzles, and they all follow the same sort of theme, right? Like, get the ball into the hole. Isn't that everyone's goal in life anyway? Sorry, cannot resist. So these shrines start out easy, but as you progress further and further out, or outward I should say, I feel like they've gotten progressively more difficult, which is fantastic because I feel like every shrine is a little mini, like 1 or 2 room dungeon. And that's something I'm super duper in love with because, like I was saying, number 1 thing I love about Zelda games, exploration. Number 2 thing I love are the puzzles and the dungeons and all that good stuff. And I feel like there are many, many of those to go around, and I'm sure I have only found like 1/4 of the amount of them. So that, it comes in a different form. Like, I don't have 7, 8, 9, 10 dungeons to do, but I have like, I don't even know how many shrines there are, but a metric fuck ton of shrines. Something else that I think has been nailed wonderfully in Breath of the Wild is the sense that it is you versus nature. It's you versus the wild, if you will. And I say that because certain things like arrows and rupees and items in general that are usually very easy to come by in all the other Zelda games are very hard to come by. Like, if I find like a blue rupee, which is like 5, I'm freaking ecstatic because I'm like, oh my god, these are so hard to get, and they are hard to get. And that's interesting and different because I'm used to being able to like cut grass and like 18,000 rupees come out. The other thing that adds to this element of it's you versus the wild is the fact that it's not an easy game. I personally don't think it's a hard game. I know some people are saying, oh, it's a hard Zelda game. Oh, it's too hard. And it's like, I don't really think it's hard. I think you have to be more strategic with how you play. And not to toot my own horn, but I never died in my initial playthrough of Ocarina of Time. However, I did die in the Deku Tree in Master Quest, but we won't talk about that. So it's not like you're gonna come across a big group of enemies and be like, I'm gonna easily kick your asses. It's like, no, you can't go in there with your sword and shield blazing. I mean, you can, but chances are you'll get your ass kicked. But what you can do is look around and find things to manipulate the battlefield and maybe throw things with one of your runes or throw a bomb or do something. And it's really neat because you really do feel like an insignificant peon, even though you're supposed to be like a badass. Anyway. Okay, I know I've just been talking a lot and I haven't had any sense of formal format with this video. It's just kind of me, like I said, just talking randomly because that's what I want to do. So I apologize if this was totally all over the place, but you're probably used to that by now. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Zelda's voice either. That's just a random thing, a very stupid, petty thing, but she sounds like she's like a 40-year-old woman with like, whatever. Not that the voice acting is bad or anything, I just think it's not like fitting for her because she's only like, what, 16 or 17 in the game, and it's like, but you sound so old. Maybe not. Maybe it's just me being weird. I don't know. I'm really weird with Zelda. Like, with The Legend of Zelda, like any little thing I like look at it and I scrutinize, and I shouldn't be that way, but I can't help. It's the one franchise I'm that way with. Okay, God. Yeah, I think that kind of covers all of my general thoughts. So with all of that said, I plan on reviewing the game once I finish it. I don't think that's going to be for a very, very long time, however, because I have Mass Effect to play and review. I'm still reviewing Story of Seasons, and not to mention there's Zelda, and it's a great time to be a gamer right now. However, that said, I am putting hours into Zelda every day, but at this rate, it's going to take me a long time. But that's okay. It's kind of exciting to know that I have it, and I'll have it for a while. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for putting up with my informal video. It feels good just to be able to like shoot the shit with a camera, but I'm actually shooting the shit with you. Okay, this is getting awkward because I'm getting toward the end of my video, and this is when I always get really awkward. See? Let me know what your general thoughts on Breath of the Wild are below, and please, no spoilers. Don't put any surprises or secrets down below. I mean, I feel like I didn't do that. I hope I didn't do that. I literally have a list of people I'm temporarily muting on Twitter because they're posting things that I want to discover for myself. So I hope I didn't do any of that to you, and if I did, I'm really sorry. There is a chance I might not even look at these comments, and I hate saying that because that's not a good thing to do, but I'm really nervous that some dick fuck is gonna post a spoiler just to be a dick fuck. So I'll see. I just wanted to be honest with you guys. All right, friends, really, okay, yeah, thanks for watching. I don't know what I'm doing. Bye.